Hey guys, happy Wednesday. It's hump day. I wanted to pop in and make a video, of course, because here we are. And here's little Monroe. I am keeping her in the theme of that honey or mustard. That sounded funny, like it's like dipping sauce. But I love this color on her, and this is one of the softest, nicest bamboo sleepers from Spearmint Love, Spearmint Baby, Spearmint Love, I forget. They go by both things, I guess. And I just love it on her, and it's really nice, lightweight cotton. So it's great for summertime because it is super hot and just steamy hot outside. And so I paired it with a cute little bow, little headband with a bow on it. So she's looking extremely adorable. So I thought, let's come out and make a video because I wanted to chat with you guys about expectations of the durability of silicone. So I've been pondering this because I've talked about this at least once or twice over time. So my thought kind of has somewhat shifted, I think, on this, and I wanted to share why and why it's on my mind. So for most of you, you know that Miss Monroe here has been with me for over 2 years now. I can't even believe it myself that this baby is, 2 years old, and I've been lucky enough to enjoy her for that length of time. But it does raise the questions in my mind, and even as careful as any collector can be, I am super, super careful with her, but I do handle her on a regular basis. So it makes me think about the fact that there's going to be some wear and tear, especially with silicone, even with reborn dolls. If they're vinyl dolls, like the varnishes can come off after a lot of handling. You can have hair loss, even if it's glued in, you can still have hair loss and breakage and things over the years and over time, depending on how often you're handling your doll. But durability of these dolls is really just a big, huge question mark for most of us. Like, I think we would love to believe that they will last forever and they'll stand the test of time if they're treated well and we're careful with them. But let's face it, we just don't know what the longevity is to any of the doll mediums. Even clay breaks down over time, becomes extremely fragile, extremely breakable. And those have been around, like porcelain, also breakable. All of the different doll mediums over the however many years that, people have been making dolls. And it's been hundreds of years. Like we can go back to way, way, way back at the beginning. And there were cloth dolls made and clay dolls made, like way long, hundreds of years ago, long time ago. And we would like to think that as time goes on, we get smarter and we've come up with better ways to make things and more durable material. But in all honesty, I firmly do believe this, that there's no doll medium out there that guarantees a forever doll. So it's one of those things, and I don't know why I think about these things, I just do. Probably because I'm OCD, probably because I stress about worrying something will happen to Monroe, especially because she is my most loved doll. I do love Miss Eloise, but I don't worry about her. I don't even handle her nearly as much as I handle Monroe. Monroe's like having a real baby to pick up and hold, so I tend to do that more often than I do with Eloise. So my stress is really, this particular baby, because I have such a strong bond for her and with her that I just don't want to see anything happen to her, and I always fear that it may happen. And so I've kind of thought, and I'm like, I put out, care videos, how, what to do, what not to do, what I'd recommend, what I wouldn't recommend, and that's all great and everything. But at the end of the day, just simply handling and changing your doll, especially a silicone doll, on a regular basis is going to result in some wear and tear. And I have had to really come to the realization and acceptance of the fact that at some point, the longer I have this baby, the more likely, it's not even more likely, it's the definite thing that I'm going to have to make a repair on her. And I have to learn to be okay with that, because I will tell you, as a very long time collector, and I've been collecting silicone for a long period of time, as well as just reborn dolls and dolls of any kind, it's not something that I am usually okay with. Let's put it that way. Like for me in the past, it's always been, once there's like an issue with the doll, I really kind of lose interest. Any of the past silicone dolls that have had, like, I've had, good handful of them that have had silicone issues. That doll went as quick as I could get it out the door. Of course, disclosing that there were issues with the doll to the new mom. And they were always fine with it. And, a lot of times, most times, took a huge loss on the doll because there was damage to the doll. And it wasn't I haven't had that many dolls that have had damage. I mean, I've been very fortunate, especially with silicone dolls. I have not had a lot of instances where I've had a lot of damaged dolls. And the ones that were damaged were due to silicone issues. And it was right back to the artist not using the right silicone, which is Selena Saxton, because she used some sort of blend that I believe had tin silicone in it that broke down. So my Allie Saxton fell apart. And my Andrea Arcello baby, that one also just, I don't know what kind. I kind of think she used some sort of tin mixture as well, because that doll was a mess. But other than that, I've been very fortunate. And with Claire's dolls, I feel like they are the most durable of all the dolls I've had, as well as Romy Stridham. She's right up there as well, because she's, both artists use such a really, really great type of silicone. It's a durable. So like I said, all in all, I've had a lot of luck with my silicone dolls, but the truth of the matter is I've never kept a silicone doll as long as I've kept Monroe. And even though this particular doll that I have, she's made really well. She's made with durable products. She's made with the best of silicone products out there. But I still handle her regularly. And the fear of having damage done to her is very real. It's also why I really check her over on a regular basis. I check all of the places constantly, probably more than I ever have the longer I've had her, because I want to make sure that I catch anything, even if it's a small, slight tear, just from handling, because that can happen. It doesn't mean anybody's done anything wrong. It doesn't mean I've mishandled her or handled her harshly. I'm very, very careful with her. I'm gentle in the way that I clothe her. I know the precautions to take. I do put mitts on her hands still. It's something that I do every single time I change her, and I would with any silicone doll, because those little open fingers, you just never know. But I check all of the areas that are potential stress points constantly. And I've just come to the conclusion that, I think as collectors, I think we expect too much durability and too much longevity out of, doll mediums. I think we expect that they will last a lifetime. Like when we first get them, we can't imagine anything bad happening to them. I, on the other hand, am always thinking like, how do I protect this doll? How do I make sure? Because I've seen damage be done and it's never intentional. I've never seen any doll collector out there intentionally do damage to their doll, no matter how hard it is to watch people handle them more roughly or aggressively than I would handle my doll. It's usually out of a lack of knowing. It's just a lack of understanding that, there's a way to handle these dolls in a way that, will help add to their longevity, I guess. And it's easy to pass judgment. I've even done so. I've watched videos and cringed the way I've watched people handle their dolls. And it's not my business to worry about how others handle their dolls. It really isn't. It just is a reminder to me that I need to be very careful and continue being very gentle when I do dress and hold and pick up my dolls. But it makes me so sad to think that at some point I will have to make a repair on her. But I have to I need to be okay with that mentally, because I'm not parting with her. I have no interest in parting with her. And so, like I said, the longer she's here, the you know, the better the chances are that I'm going to have to make a repair. And I guess I'm okay with it. You know, I mean, especially the fact that I check her all the time, that I would hope that I would catch anything very early and it wouldn't be a big repair. And that's also the thing, is like if you catch silicone tears early enough, you can repair them, and you will honestly, if it's done properly, you would never know that the repair was ever done. And I got a lot of practice on Selena Saxton's alley, because she literally, every day I'd find a new tear, and every day I would repair her, because that was at the instruction of the artist, because she wasn't going to take the doll back. So I would just keep repairing her. So I got very good and very handy at using Silpoxy when I was first introduced to it, and that came directly from Selena Saxton, to use that to repair the doll. And then was told not to handle the doll. Like, I bought the doll to handle the doll. And I literally stopped handling her, and she'd still get tears. So it was just a bad situation, but I got a lot of practice. So when the time comes, I can make, the repair necessary, I would hope, when and if she needs it. But I do think it's important for us collectors to understand that when you're buying secondhand, which I almost always now buy secondhand when it's a silicone doll, you have to understand that some people, some doll collectors out there don't even know how to recognize, what a silicone tear looks like. Or they play dumb really well, which either could be the case. But if they're newer to the doll hobby, there's a better chance that they may not have recognized what it looks like. And even some seasoned collectors still have a hard time identifying, what a silicone tear looks like and what's normal. It can be kind of tricky if you're not knowing what to look for, because a lot of people will mistake it as paint peeling, because of the way that the layering of silicone is, especially with super soft silicone. I've seen it look almost like it would be paint peeling. And it wasn't that at all. It was that it was a small tear, and it just made it look like, especially with darker skinned or brighter skin tones, the silicone underneath is, not the same color. So that's why people initially think that it's paint peeling, and then what happens is over time, if you don't take care of the tear, it just continues to grow bigger and bigger and bigger, just like paint peeling, but it's just a different repair. And honestly, I would much rather repair a small tear than a paint peeling issue. I feel like it's a way easier situation. It's a way easier repair. It's something you can do all on your own, versus if you have paint peeling, it generally has to go to an artist to be sanded down and repainted. It's just a whole different thing. So I guess that's why I wanted to bring it up and talk about it, because if you're not even knowing what you're looking at, it makes it hard to repair it properly. And I don't have an example to show you. I wish I did. I mean, I don't wish I did, but I wish I had taken pictures of when I was repairing my Allie Saxton. Because that would be a good way to show people what a true tear looks like. And she had very pink skin tone, so it was very obvious that it's not the same color underneath as it is the painted silicone on top. But instead I'm trying to explain it the best way I can to be helpful. Yeah, I don't know if I'm explaining it well or not, but if at all in doubt, if you're not sure whether you have a slight tear in the silicone or if it's paint peeling, I would ask another collector, a collector you can trust, a collector that is quite knowledgeable about silicone. Maybe even an artist friend, but a lot of times it's gonna just, taking pictures and showing somebody if you're unsure is a really good way to deal with it, because if it can be fixed by you in your own home where you don't have to ship the doll out, it's definitely a much preferred thing. Like the thought of, I don't care even if she was going to Claire Taylor, the thought of boxing this baby up and shipping her to be repaired by anybody would freak me out. It would just, especially now with delivery services being so bad. Yeah. So I guess, I don't know, I hopefully have made some sense in this video. I do think that it's important to do your homework, as I always say. Reach out to people for advice if you don't know for sure. I think that, you know, understanding that all dolls in general that are of the new, you know, very realistic kind of doll, they're all mediums, and every medium has its weak points. Every medium isn't guaranteed for life. You know, going into understanding that, you know, hopefully will help give collectors an understanding of how to treat the doll when they have it in their care. And trying to be as careful and cautious and checking over your doll regularly is always a good thing. And hopefully they'll last, you know, longer than, you know, my brain thinks that they will last. And hopefully this baby will not have any issues for a long, long time. But yeah, over 2 years I've had her, and I've enjoyed her. And a lot of collectors think it's fine. You can handle them, and if you're okay with the wear and tear and you don't mind that the doll may have issues that pop up because you've enjoyed the doll, then that's great as well. It's just all how you, I guess it is your own view of, you know, the hobby itself and how you like to enjoy the hobby and all of that, I guess. And we're all different, so it's great to see all different kinds of ways that people enjoy their dolls. But, you know, if you ever plan to sell a doll on, I would say err on the side of caution and maybe, you know, be super careful with them, because you will lose a huge amount of money if you try to sell on a damaged doll, and you don't want that headache, trust me. I've been there. But anyways, guys, hopefully that makes sense. I'm kind of putting this out there because I want people to think about it. It is food for thought. It's something that, as any doll collector, we should be thinking about these things. We should be aware of them. And as long as you're okay with it, like I have learned to have to be okay with it, even though, you know, deep down I'm really not okay with anything happening to her. But anyways, I hope you guys are having a great week so far. The week's half over for me. Yay, I'm just so happy about that. But anyways, guys, enjoy the rest of your day. And Miss Monroe and we will see you all very soon, guys. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.